Today, our next project I'm going to introduce to you guys is we're going to make a Prezi going over the 7 habits of highly effective teens. Okay? The 7 habits of highly effective teens. I want you to start out at the beginning here with your title page. Okay? So this is just like when you, like a book. If you have a book, it always has a title, okay? This one says what? Super Guides to Soccer. Alright? Anyway, same thing with us. We're going to have a title. From this, what are we going to be talking about? What are we going to be talking about?
7 habits of highly effective.
You know what we're going to be talking about, right? You want to know what you're going to learn about in a presentation. You don't want people to be surprised by what they're learning about with a presentation. Okay? So, the second thing I want you to do, your first slide, once you get into it, will be the picture of the book, because we're presenting on a book. Okay? Picture a book, and you're going to put a quote. You do not have to use this quote. I just came up with this quote on my own. It's something we talked about. You guys remember how we talked about your life changes when your habits change earlier in the year? Okay? If you don't actually change your habits, your life isn't going to change in a positive manner. Okay? And then I want you guys to put the link to the book on Amazon.com. Okay? Now, to do that, it's real simple. Let me zoom out of here. Okay? All you're going to do is go to Amazon.com and copy the URL. Okay, and then once you right-click and you paste that in, you'll be able to go to that. Okay, and I'll make a short video over how to hyperlink and how to do animations for you guys later that you can see on the Urbana Junior High Tech blog. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. After that, we're going to start getting into each of the habits. Okay, and I want to organize those within a frame. Okay, so everything you do with the habits are going to be organized into a single frame. For instance, here we go. The next slide. Be proactive is the first habit that John Covey discusses in his book. Be proactive. What's being proactive mean? I'm going to give it a try. What's being proactive mean? You don't know? Alright, you guys remember E plus R equals O?
Yes.
What's that stand for? Event plus event plus response equals the outcome. And we wanted our response to be what?
Positive.
Positive, but also intentional. You guys remember that? I think I might have yelled that at you guys a few times, right? An intentional response to every event that happens, okay? Instead of impulsive. Because if you're impulsive, you make bad responses. This is very much the same. This is very similar to that principle of being proactive. Okay? Now, on this second, or on the first, or on each, I should say, of the frames that go over the 7 habits, you're going to have to put some kind of animation or transition in. And that's simply making something appear. You guys see that? Does anybody know how to do that already? Has anybody done it on their own already? Have you done it? Okay, how do we do that then, Omri?
Just add a slide.
Well, add a slide, okay, it's kind of like PowerPoint. You add a slide and then you got your animations on there, but how do we make something appear on Prezi? It's a little bit different.
You have the slide before and then you just kind of copy the slide and, well, with something added into it maybe?
Kind of. You're pretty close. All you got to do is, once you're in Edit Pathway, okay, if you click Edit Pathway, you'll see that the numbers pop up on it. You see how it says 4? So that's how you organize your Prezi with our pathways. You see how 4 pops up and there's a star right there? You see that star? If you click on that star, it will allow you to add animations such as appearing. Okay? So this transition we can use, I can click on the 1 here. Alright, I got the 1 on there right now. Now it would not, because I clicked that off. I'm in presentation mode. It just all pops up at once. By adding this, after I hit Edit Pathway again, okay, and clicking on that, that means that's going to pop up. And it gives it a nice little effect. It'll keep people's attention a little bit better. You can do that as well with different things you want people to focus on. I'll show you one of those here in a second. Is this all making sense to everybody? Alright? I can put a webcast video up for you guys so you can see this, and you'll be able to use the webcast video to help you understand it a little bit better. Okay, so here we go, back to the presentation. Now, since we don't have a good understanding of what proactive is, and I kind of assumed you guys would not, Okay? We're going to move forward and explain it. Okay? Stephen R. Covey, the guy that wrote the book, says that being proactive is the foundation of the other habits of highly effective people. Being proactive is the foundation. Just like we talked E plus R equals O, an intentional response to events is the foundation of all the other positive habits you can have. Okay? So here we go. What does it mean though? You guys see, this is what I was talking about. Having something pop up one at a time keeps your focus right on that. You guys understand that? Okay. With all your frames as well, I don't want any more than 3 to 5 points. So this is the title of it. And they give me 3 to 5 points on a slot, on a frame. Okay? If you add more than 3 to 5 points on a frame, what do people start to do? They get bored? Do they read it? No. Because you tell me 100 things, you don't tell me anything. You tell me 2 or 3 things, then people will listen to them, okay? The presentation needs, when you guys present, it needs to be you talking about those 3 points. Not the 3 points in your, or like 10 points and you're reading them all. Okay? So here we go. Being proactive involves taking full responsibility for my behaviors. Taking full responsibility for my behaviors. Alright? Do we always do that? No? What do you guys do when you get in trouble? You what? Blame it on somebody else, right? You ever do that? No? Okay. You? Bean, you ever do that?
Yeah.
Every day?
Yeah.
Alright. Next one. Making choices based on values, not on moods. Okay, so I value my education. Okay, you guys should value your education, right? Because you guys know that the taxpayers of Urbana and the state and even federal taxpayers pay for your guys' education. You're being paid to go to school. You know, it costs money. They have to pay all those teachers. They have to pay to keep the buildings up and all that. So you should what? Value your education. That should be a value you guys have. As a teacher, even if I'm in a bad mood, I know it's my responsibility, and one of my values would say, I'm going to make sure I still teach that day. Alright? What do we usually do when we're in a bad mood? What do? You what? You snap a lot? You snap on people? Alright? Probably not a good value, right? Okay? What about you? Give me a bad mood. What do? Come on, bad mood. What do you do, Bean?
I yell at people.
You yell at people. Now, is that choice based on your values that you think it's good to yell at people? Or is that based on your mood?
Mood.
On your mood. What about you?
I pretty much yell at everybody.
You pretty much yell at everybody, right? We've got to change those type of things, right? Because your values should say, you know what? If I'm in a bad mood, I should still treat people well. Okay, that should be a value you guys have. So, being proactive involves that. Okay? Now you're going to also want to take an inside-out approach to changing. Right? Inside-out approach to changing. What does that mean? Inside out. You got to change what first?
The outside.
No, inside out. The inside first. So what does that mean? Take a guess. Freezing up?
Yeah.
Take a guess.
You have to change on how you think on things.
That's exactly what that means. You have to change what you think before your habits are going to change on the outside. Okay? And we've talked about that a little bit at the beginning of the course when I introduced everything to you guys. You have to change your thinking first. Because when you change your thinking, that'll change your beliefs. When you change your beliefs, that'll eventually change your attitude. Okay? But if we don't take an inside-out approach, things don't usually change. Alright, so I gave you an example of how I want you to do each of these. Okay? You see here, number 2. Begin with the end in mind. What's that mean? Begin with the end in mind. Yeah. Setting a goal. Guess what it is? Setting a goal. Now for this frame and this habit, I don't feel like it needs a whole lot of explaining, does it? No. So all I'm going to do is this. I'm not going to actually go into the extra frames that I will organize within the other frame. Okay? So back to the first frame. You see how when I did this, I shrunk it down, and for proactive, I put everything inside that proactive frame. I want you to do that if you feel like any of the habits need better explaining. Does that make sense to you guys? We all got it? Okay, good. Let's take a look. This will be on the junior high tech blog, so you can use this to help you come up with your stuff. Okay? I gave you the first 2 habits and those are how I want those done. You can copy mine, you can have different pictures, etc., but I want them to be done in the same manner. Does that make sense? Okay? Also, I want you to have a title page, and to keep it pretty simple right now, I want you guys to keep the title page basically like mine. Okay? I want you to put the 7 habits of highly effective teens. Now, all I did to put that picture in there with the 7 is what? What do you think I did?
Looked it up.
Looked up a picture of a 7. I wanted something that was white in the center so it'd be easy to insert things into. Okay? And then I just put all my frames inside that. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, good. Alright, now, how did I learn so much about the 7 habits of highly effective teens? I didn't read the book. I'm too lazy for that. I looked it up on the internet. I gave you guys that here. Okay, so if you look here, it says list of 7 habits. Right underneath on the junior high text blog where I put my president, you guys can see right there. Okay? So if I click on that, it says the first habit is what? To be proactive. The second one is what? Begin with the end in mind, right? So we got to make sure we do those. Okay? Now, the third one is what? Put first things first. What does that mean? Priorities. Priorities. We want to prioritize. Okay? That's pretty simple. Make sure we prioritize. Now, you're going to have a picture for that, and you're going to have put first things first for that. And if you feel like you need to explain that a little bit, you know, if you want to put prioritize at the bottom, that's 1 point. You can do that. Okay? It's only 1 point you're going to make per that frame, so that's fine. But you can do that. And you're going to do the same for each of these. Does everybody understand? Question? No? Just sitting back? Okay. Secondly here, if I go back, there was one more thing I didn't really show you, I guess. Let me go back to presentation mode. Sorry, it's a little loud. Okay? Let me quiet that down for you. I went the wrong direction. Okay, there's a video that I put on the Prezi 2. This is going to be the last thing you have on your Prezi. It'll be at the very end, and it is going to have the 7. Let me show you a little better here. Okay, it's going to have the 7 habits of highly effective teens on it. Okay, I give you the link to the video. So I'm going to stop it there. The link to the video is right here. It's on YouTube, and you guys should all remember how to insert videos. We went over that already. Okay? Just want to make sure we can do that. Here's the video you'll use. Make sure you take the URL, take it back to your Prezi, insert YouTube video, and put the URL in there. That should be the last thing. Okay? Now let's go ahead and go over the rubric for how this is going to be graded. Okay? I can find it here. The rubric is right here for you guys. It'll tell you for organization, it's out of 4 points. Okay, for doing all the skills I asked of you is out of 4 points. Okay, and for that's tech skills are there. Okay, and for your presentation, when you present this, it's going to be out of 2 points. Okay, let me pull that up here so you guys can see it. Okay, so that would be a total of 10 points. Organization-wise, okay. You get 0 points if you do not have a clear topic on each frame. Okay, if I can't understand what the frame's about, you're going to lose a point for that. If you do not list 3 to 5 clear points on each frame, like I said, no more than 3 to 5. If you only have 2 points, that's fine. But if you start putting 10 points on there to explain a frame, that's not good. That's a bad presentation. Okay, it does not have a clear transition on each frame. Okay, that's for each of the what frames? The habits. For each habit, I want you to have some kind of transition, or it's an animation, like we would have called it an animation when we were using PowerPoint, just having something to make something appear. Okay, it does not have, the presentation is not well organized. That's setting up your pathways and make sure it's going in a coherent order. Okay, so it makes good sense to everybody when they look at it. Okay, and if you get the 7 in order, it's going to be well organized. Does that make sense? Part of the well organized as well is putting explanation frames inside your habit frame. So I want you to do that as well. Okay? So if you have one of those characteristics, you get 1 point. Okay? If you have all 4, you get 4 points for that. Does that make sense to everybody? Once again, this is on the junior high tech blog as well. Okay? Tech skills. Okay? Were you able to use a search engine to find high quality images? Find images that represent the habits we're talking about. Okay? Secondly, were you able to upload those photos to Prezi? The third thing, do you hyperlink to Amazon.com for the book? All you got to do is go to Amazon.com, search the book. What's the book called? The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, right? Go to Amazon.com, search the book, okay? And then take back the URL and paste it in there. And you can see with mine, one more time here, I'll put this on, so I'll show you how to do this on a webcast if you guys need it, okay? That I also click the link to view the book on Amazon.com. So that's pretty simple, okay?